Hello bookish besties, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing 25 books for 2025 and some of my 2025 goals. This is my first time doing a reading challenge like this, and I'm very excited but also very nervous because y'all know I'm very bad at sticking to TBRs. We're going to be talking about 25 books that I'm hopeful to get through this year and that I feel like I've been putting off and that I think about starting a lot. So that's kind of the vibe of this. It's not necessarily going to be me stressing out about reading these books in 2025, but these are just books that I really would love to get to if possible in 2025 because I've been putting them off for way too long. First up, we're starting off with a graphic novel series that I think is going to be an obsession for me. So that's Lore Olympus. Since they're so beautiful and you know I'm a cover girly, I have volumes 1 through 5. So I feel like I could binge read these in like a week or even a weekend. The art style and the colors are just so gorgeous. I'm really excited to see this story because it's a Hades and Persephone retelling, so I'm excited to see how this takes this. I also think that this gets a little dark and a little deep, so I'm excited to see that in a graphic novel. Plus, I just need to get through my graphic novel collection, and these are just so beautiful. I just have these in piles, so we're just gonna go through them in a random order and talk about them a little bit. The next one on my list is a horror by one of my favorite horror authors, and that is Darcy Coates. So this is The Whispering Dead. This is about a girl who lives near a neglected cemetery and she can hear like the dead whispering, and she basically sees the spirit and she tries to help her figure out basically how to put her to rest, and it gets a little dodgy for her, so I'm excited. This is a series, so I'm very excited to pick this one up. This next one is one I have been putting off for so long. I read one other book by this author and I adored it, and I already know I'm gonna love this one, and the sequel just came out not that long ago, so it's about time that I pick this one up, and that is The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. So I've read Under the Whispering Door, which was a 5-star read, one of my favorite books of all time. So I'm very excited to read this one. And Somewhere Beyond the Sea just came out, and I always see the cute little alien plushie that's like a little bellhop in Barnes & Noble, so I'm very excited to read this one. I think it's like Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, but a man runs it, and I believe the main character falls in love with that man. I love that TJ Klune's romances are always between two men. I just think it's so adorable and wholesome to see their relationship grow because their relationships are always so good and they're always learning so much about life together. Book number 4 is a chunker that I've had basically since I started reading again in 2021/2022. And that is Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. So obviously what pulled me to this was like the dark gothic vibes that it gives off, and obviously vampires. The art in there is gorgeous. It basically reminds me of like a stained glass cathedral, but then add vampires. Book number 5 is probably a shocker that I haven't read it, but that is The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. So I think 2025 might be the year that I read Throne of Glass. I'm very nervous. I know what this is kind of about. I know there's an assassin and there's the entire world of Terrassin, and I know all the characters' names, but I don't know any spoilers. I don't know what the story's about. So I just kind of want to go in only knowing what I know right now, and I'm really excited. But I am going to start with The Assassin's Blade because I've heard starting with the novellas kind of gives you a little bit of background, and it also helps you care about the characters, the first book, Throne of Glass, a little more than you would if you started with Throne of Glass and then went into this. Book number 6 is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. Again, I don't know much about this one. I picked this up because the covers are gorgeous. I bought all of the matching covers that match up with the spines, and I went to a book signing for Air, and I met Sabaa Tahir. She was so nice. What a lovely woman. But I know that these characters are supposed to like enthrall you, and the story and the characters are supposed to hurt you. So I'm very excited for that. I do know it's something where her brother is like, I think, a warrior, and then he gets arrested for treason, and she has to like go spy in order to help him. So she's basically trying to save her brother. This next book is extremely daunting because it's going to enter me into a complete new world that is gigantic, and that is City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. Again, if you have a suggested reading order for me, please leave it down in the comments because I keep looking it up and everyone suggests a different order to read Cassandra Clare's world. I've seen this is the most popular one to start with, so that's City of Bones, obviously in the Mortal Instruments series. I'm very excited. I don't know what this is really about. I know that there's a show called The Shadow Hunters, I think. So I know this woman finds out she's a shadow hunter, that there are like a bunch of different creatures and stuff, but I'm not sure. I don't think this one's the one that's Victorian London. I think that's her other series that is like interconnected in this same world, but I'm really excited to start this one. And then when you get all of them, the spines also match up. So very excited. I have this one and the second one, I think. Book number 8. This one's really exciting to me. I'm a sports romance girly, so this one is like the pinnacle of sports romance, even though it's YA, and that is Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. I'm really excited to meet Johnny and Shannon. I know people are like obsessed with them, and I'm ready to be obsessed with them. And I know he plays rugby and that they're Irish and that there's all like Irish dialect in the beginning, so that's really fun. The next one I've also been putting off. All of my friends tell me to read it, and that is Guild by Raven Kennedy. I'm really excited for this one. I have all of the white editions, the white and gold editions, that the spines match up with the gold splash, and I finally got the last one, which was Goldfinch. And this is just so beautiful. So this is a King Midas retelling, and I know the main character is made of gold, and I think she has like Stockholm syndrome for the man that like keeps her captive, and then I'm not sure where it goes from there. So I'm very excited because I think it also gets a little dark romancy-esque. I've seen beautiful character art for this, and I am beyond excited to start this series. And I love when the series are on Kindle Unlimited so that I can like dual read physically and on my Kindle because I get through them so much faster. Another romance series you guys can be so excited about that I'm starting, and that is Magnolia Parks by Jess Hastings. I'm really excited for this one. I absolutely abhor these covers. I love the original covers, and I went to go buy the original covers as soon as they got discontinued. I know I can buy them through the UK, but sometimes I just don't feel like ordering them through Waterstones. I'm very excited. I loved Gossip Girl when I was younger, so I've heard this is obviously what this gives, except for it's in London. So I'm very, very, very excited. I really hope I'm one of the people that loves it and doesn't hate it. I really, really, really want to like this one. Then this one actually comes out very soon, but I have the indie edition, and I really want to buy the edition that comes out in Barnes & Noble, and that's Heavenly Bodies by Imani Erriu. And I literally do not know what this one's about. I just know it's very celestial, and I'm very excited for it. I've seen art. I've seen the new covers, the special editions. They're so beautiful, so I'm very ready for this one. Again, it's on Kindle Unlimited. I believe it's still on there. Yeah, I know it's celestial with magic. The next one, I'm very, very excited. Again, we're going with the gothic seaside mansion vibes. So that's Belladonna by Adeline Grace. I'm really excited for this one. I know that death is personified in this. She goes to like a beautiful seaside estate, and she makes an alliance with death, and I think she becomes either like obsessed with him or falls in love with him. So I'm really excited to see where this goes. I feel like this is a book where you read the synopsis and you still have no idea what it's going to be about, and that's really exciting to me. I'm also really excited for this one. I think I was so set back from fantasy romance for so long because I thought it was corny and I didn't feel like I liked it, but now I think I just don't care what other people think about what I read, and I'm just embracing what I like. So I'm diving probably headfirst into romantasy this year, and I'm really excited to find some really good ones, and I hope this is going to be one of them, and that's Spark of the Everflame by Penn. I'm really excited to read this one. I think there's dragons in it. I know the world is ruled by gods. That's all I really know. I'm very, very excited to pick this one up. I've heard that the slow burn is great in this. And one that I heard about a while ago that I picked up not that long ago, but probably a couple months ago, that's A Natural History of Dragons, a memoir by Lady Trent. So if you give me anything with like archaeology or paleontology or any natural science, natural history, anything like that, especially set in a fantasy world where that is shifted from dinosaurs to dragons, I will be through the roof. I love dragons, but then I also love that historical paleontology, archaeology aspect as well. Lady Trent is a dragon naturalist, and she was a bookish young woman that like basically brought to light all the information about dragons. Pretty sure she goes on a journey in this too, and I just can't resist that cover, it just looks like a really cool textbook. Like, imagine we had textbooks based on for dragons. That would be so cool. I'm pretty sure there's going to be illustrations of everything because she is a dragon naturalist and she like illustrates basically textbooks for dragons. So this is going to be amazing. Then we have one that I'm really nervous to start. It's by an author that I think a lot of people are actually picking up this year. I've seen a bunch, or that want to pick up this year. It's very intimidating to me because this is more of a higher epic fantasy than I'm used to, and I know this author is really well known for what she does. This is Robin Hobb. So I know everyone's starting off with, I think, The Assassin's Apprentice, but I saw this trilogy that she wrote, and this is The Ship of Magic, and it is book 1 of the live ship traders, and I thought this was a little more interesting for me to start with her writing and worlds than The Assassin's Apprentice was. The ships are literally like magically sentient. I'm like 99% sure it's basically like pirates and boats that are alive. And that sounded really interesting to me, but this font is so tiny. It's like an 800-page book. This really makes me nervous. It's just so pretty. And then again, these match like The Assassin's Apprentice, so once I start that series, they're gonna be so pretty together. I have really been in a fantasy mood and I went to the bookstore not that long ago and I found this guy. So my husband's a big fantasy buff and he said this guy is really popular. He has a lot of books and he's really also well known for like epic fantasy. This is R.A. Salvatore and it is The Demon Awakens, and I read like the first 3 lines of this book and like automatically fell in love with this man's writing. These are like older books, you can tell, because like look at that like fantasy art style, but it's so good. I love it. There's goblins, giants, I think there's dragons in this, there's monks, there's secret magic. I'm just really excited because it's definitely giving very high epic fantasy. Again, it's another chunky one, but I'm very excited, and apparently he has a lot of books, so hopefully we found a new good author. This is gonna be my first book from this author, but I already know I'm gonna be obsessed with everything that he wrote. This series I'm getting myself into is literally like over 40 books long, but the books are short, so that's good. It is Terry Pratchett, The Color of Magic. So this is his like Discworld universe that he made, and there's literally 40 books in the entire universe, but they're also tiny. They're basically funny social commentary on your typical fantasy books. The really bad wizard Rincewind finds the tourist Two-Flower, and he's basically giving them this like horrible tour of Discworld. So I think it's going to be really funny, but he's very, very, very bad at magic. So this is the first one in a wizard's novel. So this is the first of, I think, Rincewind's books. We're finally doing it this year, and when you see the book that I'm holding, you'll understand what I'm talking about, but we're finally finishing A Court of Thorns and Roses by reading A Court of Silver Flames. I have started this book before, and don't get me wrong, I do like it. I do like Nesta. I do just love anything written in this world, but I get way nervous because it's gonna be over. So, but I think I'm finally ready to close this series and see what she has that's gonna come out next. This next one has been very popular towards the end of 2024. You guys know I love dark romance and I also love rom-coms, so this one's the perfect mix, and that's Lights Out. The main character, Callie, is obsessed with like the thirst trap guys on Instagram that wear the masks. So her favorite one becomes obsessed with her and starts like stalking her, but apparently he's adorable and she's also like crazy. She also lives out her dark fantasies with him, so I'm very excited. I know that everyone says to listen to the audiobook of this one, but I think through my first read I might just read it through so I can like understand everything, because sometimes audiobooks I don't remember very well. So I think I'm gonna read this through physically first, and then if I really like it, I'll go and reread it with the audiobook. One that I've been saying I'm gonna read forever that my husband's been begging me is The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. So this is the first book in the Broken Earth trilogy. I literally have no idea what this is about. I just know it's good. It won a Hugo Award, so obviously it's very good. My husband said it's really good and that I'd like it. I also think it's written in second person, which is really interesting. Then we're on to our last 2 physical books that I have. There are a few that I'm either planning on getting or that I'm going to read on Kindle Unlimited. The second to last physical book is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. Now, I've talked about this one a few other times, but I've never gotten myself to read it. And like I told you, I audiobooked this one with my husband. Like here and there, like when he was listening to it, I would like just tune in. The main character, Darrow, his wife always envisioned freedom for the Reds, which is like the lowest social class in this like classist society. And they like keep them underground and they make them work in horrible conditions and they treat them awfully. And all his wife wanted was justice and freedom. And unfortunately, for his lost love, he infiltrates the Golds, which is like the highest class in this class system, and he basically takes them out from the inside. This one I obviously started, and I was planning on doing an entire video on this, which I still might do a video on this trilogy, but Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. And when I started reading this, I adored it. It's just I put it down and I never picked it back up because I'm an awful mood reader. We all know this by this point. Then we have my current read, The Sword of Kaigen. I'm really loving this one. It's about a society that is very secluded and still living like the old warrior samurai ways, and they're great warriors and they're very, very strong. They have very, very strong bloodlines with magic, and they're like the first defense between the other empire. And we have this young boy, well, he's not a young boy, he's like a teenage boy, and he is befriending another boy that is a transfer student, and this boy's traveled around. So the boy, he is slowly learning that his history is a lie, and we're also getting the story of the mother, and she was like a great powerful warrior when she was younger, but now she's just a mother and like living in the house taking care of her children. So we're getting that, and I think the story is going to break into a time of war. So I'm very interested to see where that goes, but that's the gist of it for right now. So that one's on my list and I'm currently reading it, so we're going to get one checked off of our 25 for 2025 right off the bat. Another one, like I said, I want to get more into romantasy and just basically embrace my love for it. So we're going to be reading Quicksilver hopefully this year by Callie Hart. I've seen that this one is extremely popular. I'm very excited for it. I have no idea what it's about. I think it's fae, don't quote me on that, but literally I have no idea what it's about. I just see that everybody that loves like the really good romantasies are raving about it, so I'm very excited, hoping it'll be a really great romantasy read. Another one I'm really excited about is Beartown by Frederik Backman. And this one I'm really excited about because it's hockey, but it's not a hockey romance. It's like another take on hockey where a town is so obsessed with hockey, like what will they cover up to build up their legacy? So I'm very interested to read Frederik Backman's work for the first time. Again, everyone is super obsessed with this one. It gets very deep, meaningful, lyrical. There are very beautiful quotes in it. So I'm very excited to see what this one entails. And I believe that should be our 25 books for 2025. So now we're going to move on to my 2025 goals. This is literally just my reading / content making goals that I'm excited to share with you guys. So my first goal, and this is just your typical reading goal for the year, Goodreads goal, Fable goal, Storygraph goal, whatever you track on. So my goal for this year is to push myself a little bit and read 75 books. In 2024, I read 57, so it's not too far away from what I normally read, but I do want to push myself and try to read more books physically and ebook and try to audiobook less, because I find that I don't enjoy audiobooks that much, and sometimes I feel like I just use audiobooks to bolster my number, but I'm not enjoying the books. So this year we're going to cut that out and do quality over quantity, but also try to push myself to read more often. Another goal for my social medias and platforms, which right now is just BookTube and Bookstagram, I really just want to build really safe, friendly, engaging communities. I'm not really focusing on the numbers quite too much. I do have some like numerical goals that I want to hit. I'm more focused on building a safe space for you guys, talking about books that I love, making videos that I love, having a fun time doing this stuff, while also creating a safe and comfortable space for you guys to feel like you can express your thoughts, opinions, feelings on books as well, and feel like you can form a friendship with me, because that's what we're all here for. We're here for companionship, friendship, people to talk to about books, people to talk to that have the same interests as us. So I really want to form a cozy, comfy community where we feel like we're all friends. Another bookish goal is to finish 10 series that I'm either in the middle of or that I'm gonna start. No matter where they come from, I want to finish 10 series. This is a big one for me because I read the first book in a series and I just stop. So I have all of these like unfinished series, and I feel like I need to enjoy a full storyline and not just the start of a story. So I really want to focus on reading series and like reading them closer together or reading them like all in a row. Another huge goal for me is to read between 5 and 10% of my physical TBR. This one, when I do a physical TBR for 2025, you guys will see that from 2021 until now, my book buying has exceeded my book reading by like leagues, and you guys are probably gonna judge me so hard when I do a physical TBR video, but please do not judge. I am a book hoarder, a book dragon, a book collector. I love my little books on my shelves. I really want to focus on reading more of what I have and less on buying books. Another goal that I think is really fun and a little different for me is just a goal to buy more bookish art. So instead of buying books that I don't know if I'm going to like, I want to buy more bookish art based off of books that I already know that I love. So this one's really fun for me because I really have been into bookish art lately, and I always love fan art and book art all over Instagram, but I want to start buying more so I can frame it, put it on walls like this, or just put it all up in my book room and be able to look at the things that I love, like literally visually instead of looking at a book cover. And then I started a book journal that I'm making from the beginning of January this year, so I don't start in the middle of the year. I have it all formatted for like the overall year templates, and then I'm gonna go month by month. So my goal is to make it one entire year with this reading journal, keep up with it, update it, do all the fun artsy things with it, and make time for stuff like that because I really do enjoy that creativity through art, so I really want to embrace that more as well. So those are all of my bookish goals for 2025. I'm very excited to embark on this new reading journey in 2025. I'm also really excited about my 25 for 2025 book pile. I feel like I'm going to love every single one of these books. I think almost all of them would be like 4 to 5 star predictions, so I'm very excited to see what I think of them. I know a lot of them are starting a gigantic series, but again, I want to focus on finishing series this year, so I think that'll also be a motivator, is to like start a brand new series and be able to work my way through it closer together so I can really have the whole like enjoyable time of reading a series all together. We've made it to the end of the video, and if you want to let me know that you made it all the way to the end, then you can leave me a book stack emoji in the comments, or you can let me know what one or more of your 25 books for 2025 are. I would love to hear them because I'm also looking still always for more book recommendations. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All the fun YouTube things. Happy reading and love you. Bye.